Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Volleyball aficionados, welcome to beautiful DeVos Fieldhouse, home of the Flying Dutchmen, as we get set to bring you the 100th matchup between the Flying Dutch and the Knights of Calvin College. I'm Bruton Crispin, and I will later be joined by my play-by-play partner, the wonderful Carly Van Swole. Calvin comes in ranked number 1 overall via the AVCA coaches poll and sits top the NCAA standings at 24-1, 7-0 in the conference. The Dutch, meanwhile, come in at 23-5 and 6-1 overall in conference. The Dutch at 15th in the national poll and look to claim a big victory in front of a raucous home crowd at historic DeVos Fieldhouse. Hope wraps up season play tomorrow afternoon on Senior Day as they play all bet right back here at DeVos. Calvin, meanwhile, wraps up their regular season tomorrow afternoon as they host rival Alma at Vanderbilt Arena. As one may know, Hope and Calvin's rivalry stretches way back in time. Tonight is a historic matchup in the rivalry as tonight's matchup marks the 100th match between these historic institutions. Calvin leads all-time series that began in 1978, 69-30, and ever since its inception, these two schools have vied for a place to top the MIAA. Hope will be looking for big plays from senior and kill leader Haley Rietberg, standout freshman McKenna Otto, senior middle Grace Ditzenberger, and freshman Anna Grunwald and Trace Westra. Calvin will be looking for big plays from senior Anna Camp and Sophia DeVry, who lead the Knights with almost 1,500 kills during her career. Calvin trying to stay undefeated in the conference, remain atop the national standings. Hope trying to play spoiler and move up in the rankings. Knights versus the Flying Dutch. Tradition and pride on the line tonight as all of Holland and Grand Rapids descends on DeVos Fieldhouse. Sit back, relax, and shred down about the 100th edition of the rivalry coming your way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hope College inside DeVos Fieldhouse. You are here today for the much anticipated matchup between the Hope College Flying Dutch and the Calvin College Knights. I'm Carly Van Swell alongside Rajan Crispin. Rajan, thank you for being with me today.
It's great to be here. I'm so excited. Hope Calvin, 100th edition of the rivalry. I don't know much more you can ask for.
Yeah, and last time these two teams met down in Grand Rapids a few weeks ago, Calvin took away the win in a 3-2 win. Close game. Calvin had the first two sets and Hope came back to tie it back up, and Calvin took it away in the fifth set. So we're looking forward to an exciting game here today as both the teams take the court. A little bit of previous game action as we let the refs make sure that both teams are in proper rotation. On Wednesday, the 15th ranked Hope took away a 3-0 victory against Adrian, and they got moved into second place in the conference, as Rajan told you a little bit earlier. Freshman McKenna Otto led the way with 10 kills and a .643 hitting percentage. She also reached double digits in kills for the 8th consecutive time in a match. So that's exciting for her. And also Ditzenberger chipped in 8 kills, and Vanessa Reinhardt had a total of 5 kills. We're going to see Emily Farwell start us off here, and then for the Calvin College Knights, they clinched its 8th consecutive MIAA regular season title with a 3-0 conference win against Olivet on Wednesday, as Camp is going to get the first kill of the day. And Camp and Kelsey Smith were the ones that led the way with 13 kills. Excuse me, Sarah DeVries had 14, so one up them a little bit.
And we're going to be looking for each team to start fast and jump out to a quick lead. Momentum is going to be key here down the stretch.
So Otto getting the first kill of the game for the Dutch, and we're going to see a lot from those two powerhouses from Camp and Otto, two of those big go-to hitters for both squads.
And it's just 1-1, but that first kill builds confidence as we get further along in play.
So Grunwald with the serve there. They're going to go back to Camp. Grunwald gets the dig. Wester's going to go for the tip. Back there is Kellogg. Hip off the hands of Vashon, and the Dutch are going to keep it alive. Anna Camp helps her out, and she's going to be the one that free balls it over. Farwell sets it up to Otto. Otto goes line, and she gets it to go.
So Calvin jumps out of the 2-1 lead. Both teams playing strong with a lot of momentum. Calvin looking to assert their dominance atop the MIAA. Hope trying to play spoiler and move up in the rankings as we get closer to tournament time.
Ellie Westrate, number 13 for the Knights, goes for the deep serve. Wester again goes for the tip. Vashon's going to set up Rietberg. Castillo's there. Westrate keeps it alive. This ball's up and back to Rietberg. Deep to Kellogg. Westrate sets Anna. Westrate goes for another tip, and that time that's going to head out of bounds. Good eyes by Kellogg to watch that head out of bounds.
Hope has been going for the tips and haven't been swinging right away. I'd like to see them maybe go for more attacks along the net and try and assert some dominance along the top of the net.
Farwell with the pass. Back to Rietberg, the Dutch go. Westrate gets it up. They find Camp. She goes deep corner. Beautiful placement. Saw Vashon was shagging up and had that back corner open for her. Beautiful hit.
And it's hard sometimes for the middle back because they have the entire responsibility in the back of the court. And if it goes across or it goes to each corner, it's really hard to recover if you're the only one in that area.
They choose Otto this time. Castillo's there off the block. DeVries tips it. She bumps it back up. Farwell's going to get it to Rietberg. This time they go back road to Kellogg. Vashon's there. Wester goes to Otto. Otto right next to Kellogg, but sitting on the back of her heels and can't make the step to get it up.
Finally see the patience paying off. Tip after tip after tip. Sets up the kill down the middle. And the deficit is cut to 2.
Westrate finds Camp. Camp goes for the tip and misplays it.
First rule of volleyball, get the ball over. Unable to do so there. The deficit is 1. 4-3 Calvin early in set number 1.
Otto again with the serve, this time to Castillo. Westrate to DeVries. She goes for the roll shot. Rietberg sends it right back over. Farwell's there. Dutch have no choice but to free ball it over. This time, Fia with a beautiful hit. Rietberg's going to try to send it back, and Fia will hit the antenna. Or excuse me, that's going to be called on Hope. So Calvin will get the point and send Anna Camp back to the line to serve.
Both teams playing very defensively. One team needs to take momentum and start attacking up the middle to try and create some separation early on.
Farwell's there, or Grunwald, excuse me, off the block. She's there again. Westra out to Rietberg. Rietberg with a nice kill. Castillo goes for the dive and can't get it up.
Rietberg, their kill leader. It's important to get her going early as the deficit is cut to 1. Hope trying to stay in this one. 5-4, set number 1.
Dare Cutler comes into the game to serve. She's probably the Dutch's #1 server. She single-handedly brought us back in the last Hope Calvin game. That is going to be a beautiful in the 10-foot line shot from Rietberg.
We're starting to see all the tricks come out of the bag that she has. She's so versatile in what she does. That's why it makes her such a special player. We're tied at 5. It's set number 1.
Cutler goes deep, finds its way out of bounds. We'll see Smith come back into the front row. Castillo is going to serve. Westra sets up Rietberg, back row, off the net, stays in. Camp's going to set up Smith. She goes deep, off the hands of Cutler. Out to Rietberg. Camp's there. Westra goes back row to Camp, off the hands of Cutler at the net. Good job by Kellogg to watch that and hold off.
Great hustle by both teams, being able to cover the tips well. That one just fell out of bounds. 7-5, Calvin lead. Calvin back to serve.
Castillo with that one. Vachon gets it up. Cutler finds Stutz. This time they choose Kellogg. Cutler goes to Ditzenberger. Westray tries to get her hands on it, but Ditzenberg seals the deal.
Why not being set with your feet is so important in the game of volleyball. You need to start centered, feet centered, able to come up with the hands, make a clean play. Unable to do so there. Deficit cut to 1.
Westray finds DeVries. She goes for the tip. Looks like she mishandled it, but so did the Dutch, so worked out in her favor. DeVries goes back to serve, the native from Grand Rapids. North Point Christian, a little biased towards that because that's where my brother went, so always a big fan of the Mustangs.
Go Falcons, Wheaton North.
McKenna Otto, right? Opposite end.
There you go.
DeVries with the serve to Vanderlaan. Color to Ditzenberger. Right off the tape and right on the 10-foot line.
Not always how you picture it, but the ball finds open real estate and falls down for a whole point. Deficit cut to 1, 8-7, the Calvin lead.
And we talk about all the time as Vachon serves this one out, but it doesn't matter how it looks as long as it goes in and you get the point. And another point for the Dutch.
They're starting to establish themselves at the net like we talked about early on, and it's paying off as we're tied 8-8.
Camp receives. DeVries to Smith. Smith slamming it down.
Vanderlaan had a lot of real estate to cover, unable to do so as the ball finds the ground. 9-8, Calvin.
Nice serve from Kellogg. This ball over the net. Those are Camp's favorites. And as you know as a hitter, that's when your eyes get really big and you send it right back in their face.
It's like a 60-mile-an-hour fastball that's supposed to be fast but isn't, just goes into the strike zone.
Nothing better. Kellogg goes to Grunwald. Cutler to Stutz. Off the hands of Smith. Lots of excitement from the Dutch as Westra comes back in, and as well as Farwell, and she'll serve.
Farwell, the serving specialist. They've relied on her in key moments throughout the season. A server so reliable, so important to a playoff contending team.
Smith with the kill. And Farwell wasn't one to start this ball off the block. She didn't start in the beginning of the season, so exciting to see her hard work pay off and have herself a starting position. Wester goes to Otto off the hands of Castillo, and point Dutch.
That's what we call an out-of-system ball. The ball wasn't set in the regular system of pass, set, kill. Quick play catches Calvin off guard, and we're tied at 10 apiece. Set number 1.
Smith, Vanderlaan tries to keep it alive. Went for the backup, but no such luck, and we're going to see Kelsey Smith head back to serve.
And this time it's different. This time it's different from when they last played out Calvin. Calvin jumped out to a lead and really never looked back until the 3rd and 4th set. So it's good to see Hope staying in this one. Maybe it's the home crowd, or just the excitement of playing in DeVos. We've got a close game.
Dutch keep it alive. DeVries is going to go for a deep tip. Smart move, knowing that the Dutch were on their heels and kind of off balance. Smart play by DeVries.
12-10, the Calvin lead. Coach Becky Schmidt, the esteemed Hope alum, looking for a double touch. Does not get one from the referee, and the point goes Calvin.
Smith back to serve. She finds Farwell, and Farwell's going to shank that one into the front row.
No one in the same area code. It's important to be on the same page, and they were not there as the ball falls out of bounds. 13-10 Calvin, set number 1 from DeVos.
Smith again, as she's helped the Calvin team extend this lead to 3. And another shank pass from the Dutch.
Calvin not really doing a whole lot up front to beat Hope. They're just kicking themselves right now, making small mistakes. 14-10, Calvin lead. Looking to extend their lead. Hope trying to climb back in this one.
This time Vanderlaan gets it up. Westra to Grunwald. They'll find Camp. She tips it. Farwell's there by the net. Westra goes deep. Kellogg's there. DeVries back to Fia, and she'll get it to stick.
Calvin not really hitting a lot. They're more finding open space with their tips, and Coach Schmidt wants a timeout. 15-10, the early Calvin lead in set number 1.
I think smart move by Schmidt to kind of break things up and, as we say, ice the server a little bit. What do you think the Knights have done so well?
I think it's just being disciplined with the fundamentals.
Yeah.
I think it's staying on your feet, being able to find open real estate or open floor. I like to use that term a lot. And just getting your serves in. I mean, it goes back down to the fundamentals, and good teams have good fundamentals. Both these teams will make a tournament run. Hope sitting ranked 15th, Calvin number 1, but Calvin right now is playing like the number 1 team that we all know that they are.
And then for the Dutch, as you talked about, kind of the opposite end of that, those uncharacteristic, simple mistakes. You can't shank the first pass. We know a lot starts with the first pass. And it's kind of hard to get anything set up when you can't even get that first pass up. So definitely a big change that Coach Schmidt is going to want to see coming out of this timeout.
And fans, make sure to sign up for the free email sports report and receive a recap of all Hope Athletics news every Monday and Thursday. To sign up, go to athletics.hope.edu for more information. As we bring you back to play, Calvin with the lead, 15-10 early on in set number 1. I'm, of course, joined here with the wonderful Carly Van Swoll, doing a great job, as always.
Rajan, you're too nice.
That's what they pay me for.
Yeah, he's my hype man over here. This ball tight to the net. And they're going to get a net violation on the Knights. So that's what you want after calling a timeout, is for the first point to go your way.
Absolutely. It's all about momentum. Got to have the mo, as they say in Wheaton.
Grunwald with the serve. Camp with a nice first pass. They find her again for the hit. Farwell keeps it alive. Reaper tries to make the most of it. DeVries to Fia. She goes deep, and that's going to sail out of bounds. So the Dutch bring it within 3, 15-12. Still Calvin in the driver's seat, but the Dutch slowly chipping away.
Grunwald usually a reliable server. Low serve is tipped and hits the ground, and they go over the net is the call. So the point goes Hope way. 15-13, the deficit cut to 2. Some life in this offense.
Kellogg with the pass. DeVries to Camp. Vashon keeps it up. Farwell goes to Otto. It's tight to the net. Rietberg this time takes it off the block. Grunwald's there on the line, so she just watches that head out of bounds.
And all the referees in the stands motioned that it was out. And they were right. So the deficit cut to 1. 15-14, the Calvin lead.
Point for the Knights. Camp's always a reliable source, so you know you're going to get a point if you go to her, so smart move.
As we get closer and closer to that magic number at 25, the room for error decreases ever so slightly. Got to cut down on the mistakes.
That ball off the block, and Anna brings the power, and just no one can get there in time.
So 17-14, the Calvin lead in set number 1. Packed house at DeVos.
Westrate with the serve. Westra goes for the tip. Casilio's going to set up Camp. Diagonal shot to Vashon. They're going to find Rietberg. Off the block, Grunwald's there. Westrate back to Rietberg. She sends it, and the Knights keep it alive. Westrate sets up Rietberg. She looks to finish. Missed the line by just a smidge.
Defense wins championships. That's great defense by the Calvin Knights. 18-14, the Calvin lead.
Looks like Coach Schmidt asked the down ref and the closest sideline ref to kind of chat it out. But they're going to keep the call the way it is.
Unlike the NFL, you can't go to a booth review.
No instant replay.
If I was the referee, I would have called it Hope way, but obviously I can't do that.
A little bias on that one.
I get paid to be unbiased as we bring you back to action. 18-14, the Calvin lead.
DeVries doing what she does best, sending it down. And this Calvin front line is very intimidating if you're the opponent. I mean, you got Camp, Fia, and DeVries all well over 6 foot, so definitely not a front line I would prefer to hit off of, as Otto thinks that.
That's where that tip game is going to come into importance, is if you're being beat at the line, try and roll shots or tips over the front line, try and find open space in the back of the court, as Calvin has done to Hope here early on in set number 1, 19-15 the score.
Camp bends back far and finds it in her to get the point. Camp will serve. Grunwald takes it. Wester to Rietberg. And there's that off-speed hit that you were kind of talking about.
You go fastball, 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 change up, or the Ephus pitch was like 30 miles an hour. The batter would look like an idiot trying to swing and miss. That's exactly what happened there. Changing it up with their offense. 20-16, the Calvin lead.
Cutler off her game as far as serving goes as she sends a second serve out of bounds. Give the Knights a 5-point lead. Cilio goes back to serve. Vashon takes it, the opposite libero. Rietberg kind of rolls that one over. Westrate to Smith, off the block. Cilio tries to keep it up, but doesn't head in the direction she wanted.
Well, keeping the play alive, not giving up on the play. As the point goes Hope way, 21-17 Calvin. Rietberg back to serve.
Westrate to Smith. Smith, just a lot of power. She really impressed me. I went to the game, the Calvin Hope game at Calvin, and sat in the lonely Hope student section at that time. There wasn't a lot of us, and sat next to my dear friend Jacob Whitty, who is on the Calvin men's soccer team, and he was explaining to me that she was just a freshman, and I was pretty floored. We talk about the Camp family leaving a legacy behind, and I think Smith is a great addition to that. And not the same family line, but going to leave a great legacy as far as a hitter, just being a freshman.
Goes back to the recruiting pedigree that these schools have. People want to come play here. They know it's a good place to further their careers. As Coach Schmidt will call his second timeout. 23-17, the Calvin lead in set number 1, and we'll step away. And welcome back to DeVos Fieldhouse. Brajon Crispin alongside Carly Van Swole. Calvin out to the 6-point lead, 23-17 in set number 1. 2 points away from taking set number 1. Calvin back to serve.
Sarah DeVries back to serve. DeVries just a junior, so she's got another year of eligibility left. Ditzenberger floats that one over. Castillo's going to set up Kellogg. Cutler finds it. LaShawn's going to go to Grunwald. She goes line and Camp's there, but can't make a good pass out of it.
It's a very cerebral play, trying to find the tip and it redirects for the whole point. Always important to come out with the point after the timeout, try and get some momentum. 18-23.
DeVries to Seagard. Dutch keep it alive. Castillo to Smith this time. Vanderlaan and Deshawn both on the ground, but no one can get it up.
That's a lack of communication right there. It's important for the back row to be all in communication even before the ball serves. Is if the ball goes here, where do we go? Lack of communication leads to a Calvin point, 1 point away.
Collar to Grunwald, and that's got to be one of the hardest swings I've seen come from her.
Big-time players make big-time plays.
We're going to see Westra come in the game for Cutler. And Farwell's going to go back to serve for Stutz. Kellogg, Castillo, and Camp back to serve receive. Castillo takes it. And Smith once again slams it down.
And so Calvin will take set number 1, 25-18. They'll switch sides and we'll step away from DeVos.
Welcome back as we come back after the Calvin Knights take the first set of the day. Close one, but the Dutch, as we talked about, kind of fell apart towards the end. It was kind of back and forth for the first 10 or 12-ish points, and then the Knights kind of do what they do best and took it away. So the Dutch will start, or excuse me, the Knights will start this second set out. Kellogg's going to serve for us. She goes deep to Farwell. Wester finds Otto. And Castilla almost keeps it alive. Misplays the free ball. So the Dutch will get the first point of the match.
It'll be important to start out with a run here early on, try and create some distance and get some momentum back into this building. 1-0, the early hope lead.
DeVries to Camp, and Camp, you know, that's second nature to her. She can do all that in her sleep.
And not really much you can do to defend that, otherwise, other than try and get in the right place.
Right.
We're knotted up at 1.
Smith back to the line to serve. Farwell again takes it. Wester goes for the tip off the tape. Camp's going to keep it alive, and Smith will send it over, and Rietberg will send it right back.
Big time plays make big time plays.
So
not waiting for a transition offense, or not waiting for a system offense. Putting the ball away in transition allows Hope to jump out to the 1-point lead, and the point goes Calvin as the ball goes into the net. We're knotted up at 2.
Westrate goes back to serve. She's also a freshman. Rietberg into the stands, tries to keep it alive, but can only do so much when you start playing off the court. The Old Faithful don't move very fast, so.
Getting a little bonus action in tonight. 3-2, the Calvin
lead. Checking the
lead.
reflexes. Rietberg again tries to go line, which is usually her go-to, and has just missed the line a couple times tonight.
And the scores again 4-2.
Westrate to serve. Rietberg gets it, good first pass. Wester goes for the tip. Castillo is there to cover. Fia close to the net. Still on the Dutch side. Vachon takes it. Rietberg tries to keep it in. Westrate to DeVries off the block of Ditzenberger.
And Ditzenberger is the first to send her an invitation to the block party. 4-3, Calvin lead. Hope getting back into this one, and Stutz checking back in for the Dutch.
Stutz in and Cutler back to serve. She goes to Castillo, tight to the net. Camp takes it. Vachon out to Stutz, off the block. Cutler not in the right position to take that ball.
It's important to be ready to always cover the tips, as they can lead to momentum and point runs as the ball finds the court, and the point goes Calvin.
Camp serves deep. Vachon's there. Cutler to Rietberg. Castillo with the pass. Westrate to Kellogg. Didn't quite go over the net, but was close to, and falls back on the Dutch side.
Calvin just playing more of a disciplined offense right now. More of a disciplined team in the second set. 6-3, the Calvin lead.
Cutler goes back to Stutz. She goes right over the block. Finds that back corner.
Climbed the ladder to put that one away as the deficit is cut to 2, 6-4. Rietberg back to serve.
And I think that's a nice move by Cutler, who's in the back row to set. As that ball goes out of bounds, mix it up your hitters. You've gone to the right side of line, so try to go to your left side to kind of throw things off, even momentum-wise or vision-wise for the defense for the Knights is a smart move.
As always, outstanding analysis from Carly Van Swol as the ball sails out of bounds. 7-5, the Calvin lead.
Castillo back to serve, and Vanderlaan comes in to play back row for Rietberg. She goes for a floater. They find Stutz again. Went for that float shot over the block, but heads out of bounds.
8-5, the Calvin lead. Hope trying to find some offensive consistency, unable to do so in the second set. Only 3 points separates the number 1 and 15 seed.
Vanderlaan shanks that one. Looks like she misjudged it a little bit. Kind of was back on her heels and went a little bit too far back, so tried to make up for it and overcompensated and sent that one into our lovely scorers table. Grunwald barely gets that one over. Westrate to DeVries. Off the hands of Cutler, and not much you can do with that one.
I don't know if it's the nerves of playing in DeVos in front of this hometown crowd or the atmosphere, whatever it is, but Hope unable to find some consistency. Trying to build some momentum in set number 2. 10-5, the Calvin lead.
This ball off the block. Dutch keep it alive. They find Stutz. Stutz into the block. They send that right back at her. I have this untested theory. It's, it's me, so it's not really a go-to
I'm
thing.
sure
or
it's
for
reliable.
Sure thing. In my long history of being here at Hope College, 4 years, so not that long.
It's longer than me.
That's valid.
About 3 months. You have me beat there.
That's true. 4 months and 3 years, or 4 years to 3 months. I'm mixing myself up now.
Not a math major here at Hope
No,
College.
not at all. Calvin does a phenomenal job against Hope regardless of their talent. As we know, their volleyball team is #1 team in the nation. They've proved that. Coach Warner's is amazing. But regardless of the sport, regardless of where they are, Calvin gets into the heads of Hope College like no other team. Even if Hope is favored in any set, any sport, whatever you want to talk about, not necessarily just volleyball. But Calvin does a great job of never letting the Dutch get inside their heads, and they play their game. They only worry about themselves, and they perform phenomenally. And in our heads, we can't get the Knights out of it.
And I think that's what happens when you're a consistently ranked #1 team. You're allowed to have that little bit of a swagger that allows you to be on top consistently and then not worry about the environment or where you're playing.
Right, so we'll stay tuned to see if my theory,
A great theory.
goes on in this game and in other Hope Calvin games.
Outstanding analysis.
As we all know, basketball season has started, so that's always an all-anticipated game, the men and women's basketball game. Kellogg saves that one for the Dutch. Grunwald's going to take it off the block. Kellogg's there again to help out. DeVries just slides that one over. Ditzenberg does it right back. Westrate's going to find DeVries, and I think we're going to get a double hit, and yep, that's what it was. Double hit on Westra.
And Hope goes back to serve. 11-6, the Calvin lead. As a few of Carly's fans stop by the booth to say hi, and
My housemates.
and the ball sails out of bounds. Hope jumps out to a 6-point lead. Always good to have the fans stop by.
Always good.
Mine should be coming by anytime. Maybe next year, who knows?
This is my last volleyball game that I'll ever broadcast at Hope, so it's a very special moment for me.
And the point goes Calvin. A double hit on the Dutch. Coach Schmidt trying to encourage the players and keep them motivated as the deficit reaches 7.
Had to think about that one, didn't you? DeVries, number 7, back to serve.
As you can tell, no math majors present
Nope.
in the booth.
Beautiful, beautiful hit for the Dutch, and we're going to see Westra come back in and Farwell go back to serve.
Important to get the serves in here. The margin for error becoming slim.
Seagard just barely gets this one over. They find Grunwald on the outside, and she just rips it.
It's great to see the freshman from Grand Rapids, Michigan, getting involved and building up some confidence, not only in this game, but in games to come, as she'll be the face of the program moving forward. 13-8. A 5-point lead.
Grunwald Grunwald finds it again. Castilio's going to have to set up Smith. Farwell gets it up. Otto finds Grunwald. Castilio again. DeVries goes for the quick tip. Deshawn's there. They get it back up to Grunwald. Off the block, and the Dutch get the rally point.
Getting a little momentum back, getting a little mojo back. 13-9. The deficit now 4. Didn't have to think about that one.
Grunwald misspun that one in her warm-up, so I was kind of worried about that. But she got it over, but off the block, and that's going to be sent out of bounds, so the Knights get the point.
It's a lot more difficult when the ball's tighter to the net. The margin for error is slim. Not a whole lot of real estate to work with as a lead jumps out to 5.
Grace Kellogg back to serve, another freshman who's going to make a big difference in this Knights program. Vanderlaan can't get the ball up. Kellogg gets another chance at a serve. 15-9. She finds Farwell this time. Grunwald to Otto. DeVries with the pass. That means Castilio takes the set to Camp. Westra to Otto. Back corner again is that kind of sweet spot for the Dutch.
You keep going to it if it's working. 15-10, the Calvin lead is 5. Because 15 minus 10 is 5. I can do my math.
We love the 5s.
Much to the disappointment of Carly Van Swol.
DeVries to Smith, off the block. Deshawn dives. Good effort, but can't find it. Smith just too powerful on the hit.
Calvin starting to create some distance in the second set. Hoping to make it a quick 3. Hope trying to hang on here in the second set.
Farwell to Westra. Westra goes for a deep tip. And I was going to say, it looked like she hit the line just barely, but she got it.
Any part of the line is considered in, and the ball just found the outside of the line. And the point goes Hope 16-11, the Calvin lead.
Kellogg gets it up, tight to the net, and Seagard comes in to make her name known.
Hard to do anything about the kill when the ball goes straight down.
Ditzenberger back in for the Dutch. Westrate to serve. Grunwald to Westra to Ditzenberger, who's been quiet tonight. Westrate to Camp, and looks like we're going to get another double hit.
And we'll get a couple substitutions. Adair Cutler and Ryan Stutz back into the game. Cutler back to serve. 17-12. Second set.
Castilio with a nice first pass. DeVries keeps her own hit alive off the block. Cutler finds Stutz. And Stutz just with some nice height on her hop. Just really impressive. And she's one of the only hitters that does not seem fazed by the lengthy block that the Knights put up at the net.
It comes down to being confident with your abilities. This Calvin team tends to make everybody nervous as the ball finds open space on the court. 18-13. Calvin on top.
Once again, Camp back to serve, and she just got that last point. And when you're kind of in a bind and you've let the other team get back-to-back points and you're Calvin, it's a safe bet to find Camp to finish it off for you. DeVries to Kellogg. Grunwald finds it. They get Reaper off the block of Thea. Point Dutch. She sends herself back to the line to serve.
It's a good job of trying to establish a presence at the net. 18-14.
Camp to Westrate. Westrate to DeVries. Wasn't expecting that kind of set, but makes the most of it. Grunwald off the block, and it's going to find the line.
19-14. Hope trying to come up with something to keep themselves alive in the second set.
Castilio back to serve. She's from Granville, Michigan, so not far, kind of the halfway point between us and Grand Rapids, where the Knights are located, and the Dutch get that point.
Gabby Vachon back to serve, the libero.
Kellogg takes this ball and sends it deep. She sends DeVries back to the line to serve.
20-15, Calvin on top, trying to push 5 to get to a third set.
Sydney Seagard in for the front row for the Knights. DeVries finds Vanderlaan. Vanderlaan with a nice setup. Otto with the hit. Basilio sets back row to Camp. She goes to Vanderlaan. Otto gives it to Cutler, barely gets it over. Knights keep it alive. Cutler to Stooge. She wasn't there. Vanderlaan with a diving pass over, and smart move from the Knights to send it deep on the free ball.
Go where they're not. It's a cerebral play by a talented and top-ranked team. Those kind of teams will make those kind of plays. They'll beat you any way that they can as the lead stretches to 6, 21-15. Calvin on top, trying to push 4.
That's just great volleyball IQ right there. Cutler to Otto, tight at the net. Seagard and Smith send it right back in her face. We're going to get a timeout from Coach Schmidt.
So Coach Schmidt calls the first timeout of the set. 22-15, Calvin on top, 3 points away from jumping out to a 2-0 lead. We'll step away right after this.
Welcome back to the second set, where Calvin is in the lead 22-15, kind of been in control of the last 2 sets in the driver's seat where they're most comfortable and doing what they do best, as DeVries serves that ball and the Dutch find Otto. Camp tries to dive to keep it alive, but Otto just found the right spot to get the point.
Hope has scored every point coming out of every timeout so far. Like to get a string of points together and contest this as we get down into crunch time. 22-16, the Calvin lead.
Yeah, Dutch have definitely struggled to stay in a consistent rhythm. That ball just kind of falls right in the middle.
So we talked about communication. Someone's got to go get it. 23-16.
Kellogg back to serve. Sean gets it up. Westra to Grunwald. Camp's there in the middle. DeVries to Smith. Just out of bounds. They're looking for the tip, but they're not going to get it. Rietberg comes into the front row for the Dutch, and Grunwald heads to the back row to serve. DeVries to Seagard. Camp keeps it alive on the free ball over. Westra barely just gets that one in.
Coach Schmidt fired up, trying to give her team some momentum, all the energy that she can. 5 points separates these two teams. Calvin up 23-18.
An uncharacteristic play for the Knights, but you're the Dutch anyway, anyhow.
So Calvin will take their first timeout, 23-19. The Calvin lead will stay here. And Carly, if you are the Calvin coach, what are you telling your players right now?
I mean, if I'm Mrs. Warner's, I know that I've done a pretty dang good job of coaching my team. As Coach Warner is arguably and easily probably the candidate for best coach in the nation, and history has proven that as she's won that several times. But I think it just goes back to going back to basics. We start with the pass. You just kind of do what you know. We're kind of getting out of that rhythm as Calvin does, and I am almost going to guarantee that Calvin will get the first point off of this timeout. Warner's more of a quiet coach. You won't see her get up a lot, only in moments where she feels need, but she kind of sits back because she knows that she's coached her team well enough that they know what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it, that they will perform at the level that she expects them to. And that's just great coaching. And she has a great staff around her. Megan Riedema, one of the assistant coaches, who was my freshman basketball coach back in the day. She All-American setter, so she just really sets up her staff well for success.
So a little implicit bias from Carly Van School.
Yeah, no, and Coach Warner's, her husband, was my math teacher in high school. So, Mr. Warner's, if you're listening, hello.
And I should have taken the over on that guarantee
You
as the point
we
goes.
Made a bet.
Hope Way could have paid for half a textbook. 23-20, the Calvin lead in the second set.
Castilia's going to get that ball up to Camp. Off the block, Grunwald's there. Westra close to that 10-foot and sideline, but just out of bounds.
It looks into me, but I am not the ref, so the point goes Calvin as they move 1 point away from jumping out to a 2-0 lead.
Set point for the Knights as Smith is back to serve. 24-20. And Smith can't get it to go. The Dutch have it within 3. Otto, the freshman.
And you need to win by 2. So Hope looking to push points here to extend this set.
Westra to Reaper. Off the block, DeVries is there. Back row to Kellogg. Kellogg sends it into the net. And a little bit more life from this flying Dutch team. And we're going to see a substitution. Number 3, Grace Pettinger is going to come into the game, the freshman.
Bring her in for serving
She's gonna
purposes.
serve.
The freshman from Mount Vernon, Iowa. Trying to keep this team in it, 24-22.
Camp gets the first ball. DeVries back to Camp. She sends it down. Pettinger with the dig. Rietberg sends it deep. Castillo's there into the bench. Camp keeps it alive. Castillo's going to send it deep. Westra sets up Rietberg. Short ball, sends it back over. Westra just dribbles it over, and the Dutch get the point.
The perseverance and the continuing to play after the ball leads to a Calvin timeout. This hometown crowd fired up, 24-23. Calvin hanging on by 1 and will step away.
Welcome back to this end of this exciting set. Last play was a nice rally that the Dutch came out on top and brought it within 1, and I gotta say, major props to Grace Pettinger. Holy cow. The freshman coming in and arguably one of the biggest moments, Hope-Calvin rivalry. That's incredible, and she got a dig off of Anna Camp right there. I would just hang up my shoes right there and call myself a solid career after that. DeVries sends it over. Pettinger gets it. Farwell keeps it up. Rietberg roll shots it over. Castillo's going to set it up to Camp. Camp looks to finish, and she does what she does best, and she finishes.
So Calvin takes the second set after a valiant effort by Hope, falls just short, 25-23. Calvin leads 2-0. The teams will switch sides, which means we'll step away and be back.
Welcome back to the always exciting matchup between the Hope College Flying Dutch and the Calvin College Knights. The Knights have taken the first two sets after an exciting second set where the Knights just barely squeezed it out. We come into the third set. And Marjan, if you're the Dutch, what is your main focus to try to take this game from the Knights?
I'd say go back to the fundamentals. You're a good serving team. It all starts with a pass, so make sure that you get the good foundation of your passing game set, and then get to your playmakers. Rietberg, Otto. We haven't seen much of Otto tonight. Grunwald, Stutz. Get your playmakers in action. They're very capable of doing well, and hopefully we can get them going in the third set.
Pettinger,
up and away.
Who we saw come in towards the end of the last set for serving, is starting this third set. Exciting for her, and Grunwald goes for a little bit of a tip. Can't keep it in, keeps it on her side, so point Calvin. Calvin gets the first point.
If you want to contend in this match, it's so important to start out fast and gain some momentum by putting up a quick number of points. Hope unable to do that right now. The score 1-0 Calvin.
Back row set to Rietberg. Smith with a nice pass. Camp finds it off the block. Otto keeps it alive. That almost birthday cake-like celebration pass up at the net. That's what every hitter loves to see, as we've said time and time again.
Do they sell birthday cake at the concession stand? I'm going to need some.
Hey, we have those Hope cookies. That's pretty close.
That's true. Full of cholesterol on the fast track to diabetes at 30. 2-0 Calvin.
This ball off the block. Grunwald's going to go back to the line to serve. She goes to Kellogg. DeVries to Camp. Roll shot. Rietberg's there. At the net. Vachon's there to recover. Back row to Grunwald. She roll shots it. Camp's there. They go deep. Grunwald traveling fast in the back row. Pettinger's going to have to free ball it over. Camp goes diagonal to Vachon. Westra to Rietberg. She goes line. Kellogg keeps it up. This time to Fia, who finishes it off.
You also want to go with the passing attack, and having consistent free ball after free ball after free ball does not do your team any favors, as Calvin jumps out to the 2-point lead, 3-1 in set number 3.
West Straight serves that one. Otto's going to send it into that back corner.
It's been the sweet spot tonight.
Great vision by Westra. She's going to head back to the line to serve.
Important to get a string of good serves in now.
West Straight's got to move on that one. Camp's going to roll shot that over. Once again, an open middle floor. And middle kills. If you're going to leave that wide open, I don't have anything to say to that.
Those balls in the middle belong to, are the responsibility of the middle back row. And that ball sails outside and out of bounds.
The Dutch getting lucky on that one. Cutler comes in to serve. Stutes into the front row. Cutler, as I said earlier, brought this team back in the last Hope Calvin game with her serve, so looking for her to do that now. Cutler keeps it alive. Rietberg's going to hit it right out of bounds. Goes for that back line and missed it by about a foot.
As elementary as it may seem, you got to keep the ball in bounds to give your team a chance. 5-3, the Calvin lead.
Castillo with the serve. Grunwald keeps it in bounds. Vachon has no choice but to free ball it over. West Straight finds Smith this time. Cutler keeps it alive. Joust at the net. Out of bounds. Dutch want to touch. Can't get it.
Those balls that are so close to that are so hard to work with. They're better when they're off the net. You have more space. Ball falls out of bounds. 6-3 Calvin lead.
Cutler to Stutes. And that ball off the block falls down. Stutes been a reliable source thus far tonight. Hasn't gotten a lot of balls, but with the ones that she's gotten, she's really made the most of it. DeVries off the block, kept alive. We're going to get a 4-hit call.
Six to 5, the Calvin lead. Rietberg back to serve.
The Holland native barely squeaks that one over. DeVries showing off the power.
Nothing much you can do there. 7 to 5.
DeVries will take this serve, and Seagard comes back in the front row for West Street.
Scary thing about DeVries is she's only a junior, so she's going to be back for another year, more training. She's going to be so good coming next year. This Calvin fan base has to be excited at the prospects of another year of contention as the ball sails out of bounds.
Yeah, Calvin just losing 2 starters, Anna Camp and Castillo. Both 2 players who have really left their mark on this Calvin program and really helped progress it for the better and develop it for the better. DeVries to Vachon. We're going to get a double hit call on Cutler.
9-5. The Calvin lead. We've seen this in the first 2 sets. Is it'll be close for the first couple back and forth points, and then Calvin will start to put balls away and really rely on hope to make some mistakes and jump out to a lead. And the same pattern has repeated here in set number 3.
Grunwald finds that line towards that back corner to bring it within 3. Sean deep to Castillo. Follows up to Kellogg. Cutler pancakes it, keeps it alive, and Otto can't do anything with the serve, or with the set, excuse me. Number 12, Kellogg, back to serve. From Belleville, Michigan. Vanderlaan with a nice first pass. Otto with a good hit in the back row.
You find out there's a new city in Michigan every time I broadcast a game. Being from Illinois, you just don't know. There's a new one every down. Always a fun experience. 10-7, the Calvin lead from DeVos.
Pettinger back to the line to serve. Reese to Smith. Deshawn's there. They find Grunwald. She floats it over. DeVries goes deep to the back corner, and no one's there.
Vanderlaan got caught flat-footed. That back ball, the responsibility of the middle. Going back to fundamentals, not being able to be in the right spot at the right time. Calvin with the 4-point lead.
Smith to serve. Sean with the pass. Wester to Otto. DeVries to Camp. Vanderlaan's there. Out to Grunwald. Kellogg's also there. Deep back corner again. Gets free ball it over. DeVries to Seagard, and she finds it.
I mean, at this point, if I was Vanderlaan, I would continue to try and move towards the line, try and cheat where you are a little bit. They're consistently going there over and over again. Just about being a cerebral player. Calvin very good at going where the defense isn't. 12-5, the Calvin lead. 12-7, excuse me.
Off the block. Visual excitement from the Dutch as Rietberg comes back into this game. Grunwald's going to serve. Kellogg with the pass. Into the block. Camp gets it. Allows it to stay on the Dutch side to give her team another point.
And you're allowed to play the ball off the net, off the block, and I guess one wasn't playable as Hope doesn't play that one. 13-8, Calvin back to serve.
Westrate goes deep. Dutch have no choice but to free ball this one over. Westrate to DeVries, off the tape. Wester can't find it.
And it goes back to sending free ball after free ball, and we'll get a timeout from Coach Schmidt. 14-8 Calvin, and we'll step away. And fans, welcome back to DeVos Fieldhouse. Calvin trying to put this one away and drive home early. Hope trying to play spoiler and move on to a fourth set. Calvin up 14-8. The serve goes out of bounds and the point goes Hope. So important to get a point out of the break. And fans, make sure to sign up for the free mobile app, Hope Athletics Front Row. Sign up for any sports you want to follow, including volleyball, football, baseball. You set the preferences. Search Hope Athletics on the App Store or Google Play, or learn more at athletics.hope.edu/front row.
15-19 as Anna Camp gets ready to serve. Possibly one of her last Hope Calvin matchups, depending on how the conference tournament goes next weekend. Grunwald to Wester, Wester to Rietberg. Castillo's there. West straight to Kellogg. Looks to tip that one in bounds, but it's going to float out of bounds.
And for those of you watching at home, this game does not count towards the MIAA standings. The first year that the MIAA has adopted that rule where each team only plays one team once. Hope and Calvin every year play in a home-and-home series to give each team the ability to play at home in the rivalry. Hope, as mentioned in the opener, will finish up conference play and their season tomorrow afternoon as they host Olivet on Senior Day. Make sure to tune in online if you can't make it to DeVos, and Calvin finishes up conference play tomorrow afternoon as they host Alma, who sit right behind Hope in the conference standings. 16-11, the Calvin lead.
Castillo back to the line to serve. Rietberg, Vachon, and Grunwald back to serve receive. And that ball's going to sail out of bounds as well, and that's what you like to see if you're the Dutch. Allowing the Knights to make mistakes for themselves. Camp sets this one up. West straight to DeVries. DeVries sends it out of bounds. A couple of back-to-back points that uncharacteristic for us to see from the Knights, but exciting to see if you're a Dutch fan. 16-13, three-point game as Rietberg gets ready to serve.
The smallest deficit we've seen in a while. Hope trying to climb back in this one.
And once again, just don't know what's happened, but game's within two now.
Ever heard that song, Pinball Wizard?
Oh, yeah.
It's like what the ball did right there. Just pinballed around the defense of Calvin.
Now we just get an ace from the Dutch.
And the deficit gets cut to one. Calvin wants to take a timeout. 16-15. Hope trying to push points and will step away.
(16-19) as Rietberg serves this ball. Seen 4 points in a row that did not seem like the Knights team out there, but they come away off the timeout and get the first point to bring the lead to 2.
And Vanderlaan will check back into the game.
And DeVries will step back to serve.
17-15, the Calvin lead.
Deshaun takes the pass. They find Ditzenberger off the block of mostly Seagard. Smith was there to help and for a little bit of moral support.
Seagard and Smith send an invitation to the block party. Getting started. 18-15, the Calvin lead. Hope trying to climb back in this one.
DeVries into the net. You kind of saw that even right before she hit the ball. You could tell something was a little off in the approach.
It goes back to the arm angle. If the arm is low, the ball's going to have a better trajectory of flying into the net, which it did. 18-16.
Kellogg with the pass. They find Seagard. Vanderlaan chicken wings that one up and hustle. Good hustle from Stutz and Cutler, but can't do anything with that. Kellogg serves 19-16. Cutler finds Otto. DeVries is there for the first pass. That means Castillo takes the second. Smith with the hit. Vanderlaan's going to go right away to Grunwald. Grunwald leaves that one high.
Calvin 5 points away from taking this match, and Hope will take a second timeout. No timeouts left in this set. And we'll stay here, and during the break we talked about the long tenure of Carly Van Swol here broadcasting volleyball. This senior, the last game tonight. How does it feel, and what has this program meant to you?
You know, when my brother pulled me up for my first ever broadcast that I ever did was the Hope Calvin women's soccer game. 0-0 even in double overtime, and I kind of swore to myself I would never ever broadcast again, and here I am 4 years later, and volleyball's been one of my favorite sports to broadcast. It's been a lot of fun to, I don't know, kind of grow up with these seniors on this team and see them develop as players and see myself develop in the broadcasting world, because you would all have muted this broadcast by now if you were listening to my very first broadcast ever. So just an exciting thing and an exciting opportunity that we get to be here and broadcast this game, which we got to give our nice shout out to Lawrence and Vanderswart for making all this possible for this and for me for the last 4 years and giving me something to look forward to every day.
Well, it's been a joy and a pleasure to have you in the booth as well. Always do a great job, and you will be missed as we bring you back to play. Calvin trying to push 5.
And the Dutch get the point, bring it within 3. So we'll see if we get the end of a set kind of like the last one in set 2, but hopefully if you're a Dutch fan that they kind of stay with that momentum and take it away as Pettinger goes back to serve. She'll send it out of bounds. Smith back to serve, and Fia back into the front line.
It all starts with the serve. 21-17 Calvin.
Sean's there for the pass, really tight at the net. And we're going to get, wow, over the net call on Anna Camp. Joust at the net, but that was a call made by the head ref. So that's brought it within 3 as Grunwald is going to serve. Ball goes to Seagard. Seagard hasn't had a lot of hits today, but when she's gotten the set, she's really made them count. So Westrate will come in to serve for her. 22-18.
Calvin 3 points away from taking this one. Hope trying to hang on.
Rietberg to Castillo with a nice pass. Westrate to Camp. Deshaun sends that one into the stands. 23-18.
Calvin out 2 points away.
Westrate with a deep breath. She takes the serve. Grunwald with the first pass. And Westra tries to go for the back tip and sends it out of bounds. Game point, 24-18. Westrate has the chance to seal the deal.
Calvin Faithful on their feet.
Pettinger gets the ball up. Rietberg. DeVries tries to go for the quick tip. Can't get it.
And Hope will stay alive for one more. 24-19. Hope trying to push forward here to push this set longer.
West straight to DeVries. DeVries goes line to Pettinger. Pettinger with a good pass. Rietberg sends it back. Weststraight finds Camp. She goes for the roll shot. Otto's there. This ball's up to Rietberg. Tip. Ball's back. Grunwald goes flying. And Pettinger's going to try to keep it alive and does the best she can with the hustle. But the Knights will take this third set away, 25-19. The Knights win in 3, proving that they are the #1 team in the nation and the winners of the regular season MIAA conference. So that it will do that. I can't speak right now, Brajan.
That's all good.
That was my last broadcast. You take it away.
Calvin wins 25-19, again proving why they remain #1 ranked nationally. Big plays from DeVries leads the Knights to a win at DeVos. Fans, make sure to join us tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. as the Dutch host Olivet on Senior Day. And our final send-off for the wonderful Carly Van Swol. I'm Brajan Crispin. It's been a great night. Thank you to all our producers, Steve Secor, Alan Babbitt, and the great Nate, who works our camera so faithfully every time out.
Wouldn't
Thank
look
you,
good without him.
and good night.